And it doesn't even have to be 40. It's just got to be, it's like a production curve, right? So the current theory is you record enough songs in advance to where you can just kind of build a snowball. Yeah. But you could do this in real time if you wanted to, from scratch. What you do is you record a song, and then you immediately record or make some sort of video thing to support it. And it could be as simple as a lyric video from the early 2000s, right?
We've done that a bit.
You could totally do a lyric video. It doesn't have to be a full production video. It doesn't have to be live. It can be any sort of video element to promote it. And then what you do is you chop that up, that video, you chop that up into the appropriate lengths of time and formats. So, different lengths, widths, right, ratios, whatever verbiage people want to use for the appropriate social media platforms. And you push it for 22 days. You push it and you promote it for 22 days. So every couple days you're dropping a video on each platform. And then on day 23, you actually release the single with the full version video on YouTube. And then for 22 more days, you promote the thing you just released. And it could even be the same or similar videos you had, just with slight edits to it. So instead of coming soon, it's available now. And then at day 45, you start that fucking cycle over with the next single.
I've seen so many theories on that, though, because I've seen some people say, like, oh, do you only do 22 days of promotion after it? Well, then you're giving up too soon on your song. You need to promote it for 60 days. I've seen so many varying...
So here's the argument, though. Now, but here's the actual argument to it. Is the idea is it's the slow drip. Water, drip, drip, drip.
I
the water
understand
cracks
that part
the
of it. It sounds like the death of an artist to have to chase that exact program all the time. To me, then you're probably not even thinking about being a good artist or writing songs. You're too obsessed with this cycle that you're on. Whereas, like, I just think, I mean, I agree. Like, I'm not good at promoting my songs and doing social media as much as I should, but also, I've realized, too, it's like I do have to balance an element of happiness because it makes me so unhappy to have to do that part of it. Like,
yeah, and I'm not saying you should. What I'm saying is, like, this is just currently the model. Whereas if you rewind 20 years, 30 years before that, we're going back to like basically the 90s now. And for 10, 20 years before that even, you'd record a whole album, refine it down to the best 8 to 12 songs, and then you would really debate about what song do we release first, right? What is our leading single? That was a big deal. Now what I'm saying is the strategy has changed so much that, especially if you're starting from scratch, which I'm not saying you are, you're definitely not, but I'm just speaking to the proverbial random new guy who's like, I'm so confused what they're talking about. It's the same idea, but now it doesn't matter what song you release at what time. What you're doing is slowly providing a steady dose of content for everybody across every platform, no matter how. And it becomes this absolute snowball that builds over time. And then what'll happen is, like you said, it sounds, well, what if you give up on a song too early? No, that's not the point anymore. And I'm not saying this is correct. I'm not saying this is the Bible. This is what you do or else. I'm saying this is the mainstream, and there's obviously ways you can tweak this and do this different ways depending on the level you're at. But if you're starting from scratch, this is the easiest way to do it. You drop these singles every 45 days, and then what'll happen is after a year or two, not only will you have 10 to 100,000 Instagram subscribers, 1 million TikTok subscribers, 30,000 YouTube subscribers. Not only will that be a thing, but all of a sudden, one of your old tunes gets picked up and goes viral. And then that genuinely starts redriving the algorithm on your old shit, which redrives the algorithm on all your new shit, which just speeds up your snowball. Like you're literally going down the mountain now. Now you're becoming almost avalanche levels, right? Then now you start hitting huge numbers, and it's not organic because you slow dripped because it's the only other way to do it from scratch is you can release 1 or 2 singles and then drop your whole album, but you better have a fucking serious promo budget, and you better have the ability to immediately go on tour and support that promo budget.
So I guess
so it gets tough. Like what you're trying to do, and I'm not saying I'm not saying Lazarus I'm saying what you're trying to do as a musician. What you're trying to do is gain interest into your music in any way that you have access to. And this is the cheapest, easiest, most predictable, reliable way to do it. And obviously you can tweak this, but even bands like fucking Metallica, maybe not literally Metallica, but even big bands at that level, they still do a version of this, right? They still drop 4 or 5 singles and then the full album. So it's interesting. It's interesting how the whole thing evolves, and you might end up being ahead of the curve just by doing something totally different.
Well,
here's a whole library
that's what I'm going
of music
for right now is because
for people to listen to. It might work.
Here's what I'm thinking is because all I've known is for the last however many years it's been all about this. Got to do this X amount of days schedule for your music kind of thing, and like I said, chasing that kind of information and trying to keep up to date with it and trying to actually plan and execute it, like I said, it literally becomes being like the death of an artist to me. Like when I'm doing that, I find that I'm not creating more songs, I'm not writing, I'm not, and so I'm like, well, what the fuck is the point of promoting shit if I'm not actually creating anything as an artist? Yep. So that's
the challenge.
Well, me personally, my line is different. I can't take very much of that shit. As far as like anyone who knows me knows I'm an extremely private person. Like not only do I stay in my room a lot, I stay in my closet in my room because my theory is I want 2 doors between me and the next person.
You do some promo online.
Well, no, I really do try. So, and that's
it's not like you don't do any of it.
No, and I have reconciled with the idea of social media, but that's the thing is what I've realized is I'm just gonna be the artist that I am and do whatever the fuck I want when it comes to social media. If I want to do a fake cancel campaign, so be it. I will. If people end up hating me for it, whatever. Because, like I said, at this point, there's nothing to lose. Like,
and I think that works as long as you're doing something.
Well, and
even if that's something
that's the thing
changes,
is I do have belief in the music that I'm making. I just feel like it's not getting heard, and that's all I want is to get ears on the fucking.
And that's where the social media idea comes in, right? It's because it's very difficult to go viral. So the easiest next step is the slow drip method. That's exactly why, because the whole point is,
and that's fair,
to just get
I don't
ears
think
onto your music.
I personally don't have the capability to follow a social media routine without it stressing me out to the point where I will either fail at it, and
we'll talk after the podcast because I think technology and shit's changing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is it's always changing. So every time,
I think it's going to get easier.
As soon as you've implemented a schedule, you see some new video that's like, "Oh, you're not doing this, are you?" But it's like, "Yeah, I'm already 15 days into this thing." You know,
who cares?
Right. That's the point I get to where it's like, who cares? Because I see so much conflicting.
Here's a better example to just put you at ease about this. Indecision loses more wars than bad decision. And what that means is
I call it option paralysis.
Sticking with a bad plan for 2 years is oftentimes better than shifting gears every 3 to 6 months and going in a different direction because you're never giving any plan its full thing. And that's what I'm talking about. This slow drip method, it would take a couple years to do this.
And to veer this away
and
from
get better at it and like
to veer this away from that conversation and back to what we were talking about. There's this term we call option paralysis. I mean, I've used it with many musicians where, and especially Bryn and I,
paralysis by analysis
or that either one. Yep. Essentially, it's like you got to make a decision and stick with it and go with it, and for better or worse, that's your decision kind of thing.